hello, 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 hello. You are up front with Frank Rothstein on skyscrescentradio.com, SKYES, crescentradio.com, broadcasting to you live on the website itself and on Facebook at all the pages I always mention. Skies Crescent Radio, up front with Frank Rothstein, that's me, and actually on my personal page also. So jump around, see what's going on. You can also email me anytime you want at upfrontfrank@gmail.com. And if you'd like to leave a comment on any of these pages, ask them a question, we'll see it and I'll read it live, talk about it, see what's going on. Sitting with me with a very busy background, besides hovering Earth, today she has an extra guitar, a light stand, and a mic. That is a mic stand to your right? To your, is that a light? It's a light, okay. Light on the right, mic at the back. Yeah, she's orbiting with all her equipment right now. Everyone, you heard the voice of Jade Zabert. Hi, Jade. It's been an interesting week, but before we get to all of it, let's let you know that Jade's going to be appearing all over the place with her band, The Trainwalkers. As always, you'll see them in their residency at Arlene's Grocery, 95 Santon Street. That's where the person outside is in a rush to get to right now. 95 Stanton Street, the first Sunday of every month, starting at 7? Okay. Tomorrow night, Trainwalkers will be appearing in Brooklyn, New York. Yes, that's where I'm from. Go Brooklyn. At Mika, 25 Thames Street in Bushwick. The show itself, the entire event starts at 7 p.m. The band appears to be determined. Hopefully they're closing the show. They get to go out big. But either way, go show up. Looks like a really cool place. Looks like a big place. I'm sure it's an easy ticket to buy if there's a ticket at all to buy. Anyway, go check them out. It's a good act. It's a really good act to go see. And before we move on, Jay, would you like to mention anything about the show that I haven't covered? It is. That means buy a drink, everybody. Everybody buy a drink. And that's what's going on over there. Okay, so the door is easy. No excuse for tickets. It has been a busy week. Normally I don't talk I really don't like to talk about the headlines that much, but when everyone's talking about what happened, on the movie set with Alec Baldwin, and that is tragic. I don't have to go through the whole story. We've been hearing about it now for a while. I don't have to go through this whole story. I always go with one question. Everyone says, well, it was non-union help, and union help was leaving because of safety concerns, this, that, I understand that. But you don't need a union card to know not to bring bullets to a movie set. You just don't. No one needs a live shell. When you know there's going to be, there is no unless. You don't need to bring live bullets for any reason to a set. And I feel, of course, the victim is, it's tragic. I feel he has to live with this for the rest of his life. Me personally, if I was using a gun of any kind, prop gun, real gun, whatever, if I'm not the one loading it myself, I want to see it loaded in front of me. I want to know just what's going on. But okay, that's just that. In the meantime, I just leave with, you don't need a union card to know not to bring bullets to the set. Okay, now that we got that, we got the band playing. We got, what is this? Okay, let me get rid of one. I'm using my computer as my filing cabinet, as always. So, okay, a lot of stories. I'm going back in time, since I get off last week, things happen from the second I get off the air. News doesn't stop with me. I wish it did. One of the things I found really interesting was that surgeons in the United States have successfully tested a kidney transplant from a pig into a human patient. This came out of Reuters on October 19th. It says, for the first time, a pig kidney has been transplanted into a human without triggering an immediate rejection by the recipient's immune system. Now, this was on the 19th. Today is the 25th. So we know that there's been plenty of time to, I haven't heard an update, let's put it that way. But I find that really important, fascinating, interesting. That you could do that. Now, there's a lot of things. One is, I'm glad there's new ways to help humans. You know, I really am. I'm glad there's new ways to help people. Somehow, I'm hoping that the pig has 2 kidneys. I would hate to think that the pig has to die in order for a kidney to be harvested. Now, before anyone says to me, I know they're going to, I know what happens to pigs. But let's just say while I'm glad they can do all kinds of things with medicine, I would not be happy about killing one animal to save another. Let's put it that way. And yes, that is what humans are, just another animal on the planet with just a different name. So, but anyway, interesting that they can do it because yes, there's a shortage of human organs, which will actually get probably worse in the future because our reproductive process is getting slower because people, it's different. People aren't having kids as fast. You know, it's a generation now of adults that grew up on websites, on social media. It's not the same. People are not having kids like they were. I was reading about that a few times. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how the future progresses other than it being future. And I am curious to find out, because I haven't seen anything posted about this, is if the human had any kind of reaction to this. But I find that to be very, very interesting. One of my more entertaining, this is only because of how prudish the world could be. I got this from, where is this thing? I got this from Vice.com on their motherboard section. It says a museum started an OnlyFans account after its TikTok is banned for posting nudes. This is, they opened the OnlyFans account as part of its, what's it called? Vienna Laid Bare campaign. And it seems that they showed a picture of a statue. It is somewhat nude. It's a little statue. It's a statue. And people, of course, were upset. So Twitter took the account down. So the museum went to OnlyFans, which is generally considered a subscription sex account website, or yeah, website. We'll go with that. But yeah, they had a nude art collection. So, okay, people couldn't handle it. I mean, has anyone ever seen the statue of David? But okay, this is what I keep saying, okay, because I can't believe the things I read. So what does this say here? It says, Helena Hotwauer, the spokesperson for the Vienna Tourism Board, told Motherboard that the museums launched the initiative after the city's museums had their social media accounts suspended for uploading nude artwork. In July, the TikTok account of the city's Albertina Museum was banned for posting photographs from Japanese artist Nobuyoshi Araki depicting obscured breasts. TikTok did not immediately reply for an email with a response. So anyway, they opened the OnlyFans. It says here, what? Vienna and its art institutions are among the casualties of this new wave of prudishness. The nude statues and famous artworks blacklisted under social media guidelines, and repeat offenders even finding their accounts temporarily suspended. The Vienna Tourism Board wrote in the press release, that's why we decided to put the capital's world-famous explicit artworks on OnlyFans. Now they will get subscriptions to watch their artwork at $5 a head. And because someone has made this a big, big issue, they'll make even more money. You know why? Because people want to know what the hell you're talking about. They want to know what it is they're not supposed to see. So good for the museum. Very happy for them. I think it's great. What else is going on here? So let me see something. Let me just read this one article because it's only a low life will do this. So I mentioned Alec Baldwin. Okay, we know that. I saw this on like Microsoft news page that opens on my computer automatically. And it seems that Donald Trump Jr. is using this event to make fun of to make fun of Alec Baldwin, who used to make fun of his father on Saturday Night Live. And Don Jr. on the website has created T-shirts that say, "Guns don't kill people, Alec Baldwin kills people." This is a horrible, cheap stunt. This is just disgusting. And for $28, you too can have this shirt. What a prick. As a matter of fact, don't forget that it's his father who in 2018 decided to seek a court verdict banning Saturday Night Live from making fun of him. A show that started, was it 1974 when I started watching? And they have 76, and they have made fun of every president from Nixon right through till today to Joe Biden. Every president has gotten a laugh out of it, has gone along with it. Well, I forgot if it was Barack Obama or George Bush who said he felt like he made it to the big time when when Saturday Night Live was making fun of you. And yeah, so that is what Don Jr. has done. You will not see me buying or wearing this or modeling this shirt anytime soon. What can you say, right? What else is going on here? So what's going on in the country? Is anybody working? Well, apparently not in the trucking industry. And the headline here is, this is from the 19th. I'm not sure what the number is now. It says, wanted 80,000 truck drivers to help fix the supply chain. And that is because the trucking industry is short 80,000 drivers, a record high. And that's according to Chris Spear, president and CEO of the American Trucking Association. That's a 30% increase from before the pandemic, when the industry already faced a labor shortage of 61,500 drivers, and people are not working. A lot of people are using COVID stress. A lot of them, I guess, just got used to sitting there collecting checks, and they're not going to work. And I'm having a hard time believing that if the supply chain to the United States is not quite completely cut off, but effectively severely hampered, you would think that the government could, wow, there's something going on out there. You would think that the government would send over National Guard drivers, recruit retired fire truck drivers, anybody who could drive a truck, and pay them whatever, just to get things on the road. Because it makes no sense that you cannot find 80,000 people who need jobs. And I know it sounds like a large number, but we're a pretty big country. Somebody needs work somewhere. And it's sitting in California, in LA, and in Long Beach on the docks. And I was reading an article about what some retailers are doing. They have a lot of empty shelves, one thing or another. I'm watching one picture where everyone took their beach chairs and put them on the shelves. Little collapsible cloth chairs, not big, huge lounge. And they put this to stock the shelves so it doesn't look totally empty. To me, it's sad. But as I was saying last week, here in New York, we've spent about $300,000 on giving people $100 each to get vaccinated. The same people who who won't take it because they figure they're going to turn into a gargoyle or turn into something. But for $100, they'll do it. And again, a lot of them not going to work. But truck drivers, somehow you would think that every union has a truck driver. There are plenty of retirees who are perfectly able to go back to work. Give them the right pay, they'll go back to work. That's what I would think. If they can take $100 to get a shot, they can take a little extra money to drive. And somehow that's just how I see it. Then again, I would also consider putting everything on a train and shuttling it to the state where it has to go and getting trucks there. So they don't have to do cross-country runs. There's got to be a way to move freight across country. Let's put it that way. It's only product in your store when it gets to your store. Right now, it's freight. So, yeah, they're in it. There's not enough people to work around the clock. There's not enough drivers. There's just not enough of anyone. And that's, let's say, truck drivers move 71% of the U.S. economy's goods. Guys, girls, if you need a job and you have a truck driver's license, go sign up. At least that's what I would think. But what do I know, right? I'm not a truck driver. I should have got my license way back when, just for the hell of it. Yeah, so here's the article I'm looking at. You know, they're turning to bizarre, they call it bizarre tactics. Yeah, collapsible chairs aligning shelves. This looks like a home. This can be a key. This could be a lot of places. This could look like a Home Depot. It could be a lot of places. A Costco. They're just taking stuff they have and filling up shelves anywhere. This is Safeway. Yeah, Safeway appears to be trying to hide, this is the picture, trying to hide the supply shortage by using single lines of products to fill shelves. In this case, it looks like cans of, what is that, pretzels? Yeah, cans of pretzels. Go figure. Well, I'm glad if you need pretzels, you know where to go. Brutal. Okay, so we told you about the museum. I'm just going through the articles here one by one by one. I was looking at another thing from the 19th that says dog owners could face jail and $27,000 fines for putting pets on a vegetarian diet. I can believe it. Dog owners face jail, as I said, $27,000 in fines for putting pets on a veggie diet. Feeding your pooch plant-based meals can come back to bite Brits who want to switch up their animal's traditional diet. By the way, this was published in The Sun. This is an English article, British article. By adapting your dog's dinner to a vegetarian diet could land you in trouble with the law. Canines must be fed a suitable diet according to the Animal Welfare Act of 2006, and you could be prosecuted if it is deemed you are not doing so, which means that dogs need to have fat. Dogs need to have meat. Dogs are not humans. Pets in general. Pets need to be fed a certain way. Your cat, especially male cats, do not have to have fish, by the way. I found out the hard way. That's not even from a big diet of fish. That seafood in a male cat can cause the reduction in B vitamins, leading to other problems. But yeah, back to the dogs. They just need certain things. Their body isn't designed like ours. They don't understand that if they're hungry, that it'll pass, so they can have a glass of wine and get away with it. They need proper meals. They can't just eat lettuce and whatever else you put in there. They need protein. They need a lot of things. They need certain supplements that may have animal of sorts ingredients mixed in, but they need it. So yeah, in England you could be fined, $27,000 if you do not take care of your dog properly. You know why? What can happen? Dogs get sick. Dogs need to be cared for. Dogs go into animal hospitals. It'll cost a fortune in the long run. And the dog will not be hurt, if you give it a whole steak in the bone. Let the dog be a dog. Yeah. Yeah. Let the dog give it a treat. Dogs love liver treats. Give it a treat. What else can you say, right? This hour's flying by quick. I was reading this. Also, a lot of things happened on the 19th. Also published originally in the Sun. This is a woman. Let's say a woman was shocked to discover just how much data Amazon has collected about her. She posted a TikTok video explaining how she requested to see the data but wasn't expecting to receive so much. TikToker, my data, not yours, explained, I requested all the data Amazon has on me. And here's what she found. She revealed that she has 3 Amazon smart speakers around the house for whatever she's listening to. 2 are Amazon Dot speakers, and 1 is an Echo device. Her home also has smart bulbs. She says when she downloaded the zip file, these are all the folders it came with. The TikToker has then then she clicked on the audio file and she revealed thousands of short video clips that she claims Amazon has collected of her on her smart speakers. Amazon is monitoring. The web is listening. The web is watching. That's what you got to know. She said there's like 3,500, a little over 3,500 short audio clips in that file, in one file alone. She was also sent the contacts file. Yeah, every time you hook in something, right? Whether it's an Amazon thing, they were talking about this in baby dolls a few years ago, like a smart doll that can talk. It records. They record. That's just what it is. And the world wants to know your business. It used to be if you didn't want to give your phone number out to someone, you didn't. Now, everybody has your phone number. But yes, Alexa, they can import their mobile phone contacts to the Alexa app, which people do. I think it's ridiculous, but okay. And you can request and delete your voice recordings, or choose not to have them saved at all at any time. But please be careful when you order all these things. Someone's watching. That's just the way it goes. Someone is always watching. There's a camera everywhere. There's a microphone everywhere. Everybody wants to know what you're doing, even if you're doing nothing. So be careful with that. Don't get a smart bulb. You don't need your cell phone to turn on a light. Flick the switch yourself and just protect yourself. What can I say? That's just the way it is. So if you have any concerns, contact Amazon, see what their data is, get your files if possible, and see what they got on you. You never know. You may find out that forgotten combination to the lock you can't get off your locker. What's going on here? Oh, I remember these two. Brooklyn lawyers plead guilty to a charge in Molotov cocktail case tied to the George Floyd protest. This came out on the 20th. You remember the 2 lawyers that rigged up the cocktails to throw them at empty police cars? Well, attorneys Collinford Matisse and Rouge Rahman pled guilty to a charge last Wednesday in the case. Well, they were lawyers before. I'm pretty sure they're not now. I am not sure what the exact sentence is. It says they could face 10 years in prison. I don't know if that'll be the case, but they were got right away. They were taken. And I don't know what they were thinking of. Now they regret it. Of course, now they regret it. Telling this to the judge. That's why whenever you hear of a big case and it makes the news or you read about it, you read about it, there's always a line saying, and they didn't show remorse. You're trying to kill somebody, especially when you're dealing with like someone shoots up 12 people. They didn't have remorse on the first victim. They're not going to have it on the next 11. These two here, they got caught. They have remorse. They're going to be sentenced on February 8th. I'm not sure what that would be. Bad idea. Life is ruined for you too. Fortunately, nobody really got hurt by the act, and that's just whatever. That's what it was. Do you remember last week? This one here, I could not believe. So before I start getting, I mean, I know that most of the stories I'm reading are ridiculous, but every now and again, you find one that is pretty serious. You remember last week I was talking about in Texas that the teachers were told to teach opposing perspectives in relation to the Holocaust? Nazis, Jews in concentration camps and all that. If you're not aware. If you're not aware of what it is, please Google it, World War II, start from there. So I was telling you, they were supposed to supply books and teach opposing, about opposing views. Everyone's perspective should be respected, all that crap. Anyway, I was reading an article about how they were doing this, and they were teaching this. But the school, let's see, this story is from a school that was a local public school in Oxford, and the class in the question occurred when the writer of this article was 6 years old, the equivalent of 5th grade in the United Kingdom, UK. It says the experience, it says, was enraging and humiliating. This is from, I'm looking. The author is Elliot Friedland. Okay, Elliot Friedland. The teacher started off with raw footage of the concentration camps. They sat on the floor cross-legged and watched the bulldozer shoving piles of naked, emaciated Jewish corpses into a pit, the mass graves. The way they dispose of, like the way you dispose of trash in a landfill. And I've seen those videos, those old film clips. That is just what it looked like. It says the hopelessly age-inappropriate film. Remember, they're showing it to what would be 5th graders. Without context was bad enough, but our teachers decided for reasons I will never understand to explore industrial genocide through the medium of I just lost my page here. What happened? I'm sorry. My computer just skipped. Look at this. So anyway, the teacher decided to go through this and talk about the industrial genocide through a medium of interpretative dance. How's that? So you have to sort of, through interpretation, I guess, dance your way to explain this. So anyway, it says we could play the role of either a Jew getting murdered, I'm quoting this, or a Nazi guard doing the murdering. It was the student's choice. Remember, they're 5th graders. I'm going to keep saying that. And after explaining to us how Jews were rounded up on trains and herded into gas chambers, our teacher invited us to consider the perspective of the Nazi guards overseeing the operation. It says, after all, there was a war going on at the time, she explained, and they had probably signed up to defend their country just like British troops. Okay, so what that line means is, it's to pretty much put it in one sentence. It was like, it's sort of like saying American soldiers, they signed up for the war, but they didn't. Well, they signed up to defend the country, but they didn't sign up to go to war. You've heard that before. This was like the old expression of all Nazis were Germans, but not all Germans were Nazis. That as a one sentence would be true. However, Nazi soldiers had family lives and lives too. They had been, okay. and questioning whether they're not just following orders. So the teacher asked the students to consider these emotions and express them when performing their individual dances. Each child performed their dance individually. Around half the class chose to be Jews, the other half chose to be Nazis. The author, Eliot, chose to be a Jew, obviously, because he's Jewish. When it was his turn, he mimed dance being shoved into a gas chamber, terrified, pounding his fist against the doors, slamming shut, trying to get out, and then dramatized choking to death on the then gas Zyklon B, which, by the way, has been outlawed ever since. Zyklon B. If you don't know what that is, Zyklon, letter B, and Google it. Acting out the horrible fate of 2/3 of European Jewry impressed. All right, so this is what the teacher did then. In Texas now, oh wait, but let me get this part. It says, one of my friends chose to be a guard. His performance featured him clubbing the Jews with a rifle, pushing them into ovens, pulling the switch, and his mind danced an attack of conscience in which he returned to the gas chamber to see if all the Jews were still alive. All right. You got the idea. That still doesn't give you an idea, but you got the idea of what's going on in this class. I could read on and on and on, but I cannot tell you. I cannot explain this away. It's not possible. So in Texas right now, as I read the last week, there's one principal who's ordering teachers to have books in the class for everyone about the Holocaust. There should be one providing the opposing view, the Nazi perspective. I cannot begin to even imagine how you can effectively explain this to any kid. But then again, if you're doing it to little kids, you can explain anything. Explain to them long enough, there you go. And that's how it was done in Nazi Germany. They had the youth movement, all the little kids indoctrinated. Used to be called Bundists. So be careful what's going on in your kids' schools, whether it's public schools, grade schools, high schools, even colleges. See what's going on in your kids' schools. Everyone wants to have their perspective respected. No, I cannot respect a Nazi's view. Sorry. And for all of you getting your first tattoos in your life, please, no numbers on your arms. You can Google that also. Okay, what else is going on? We're moving on here. Let me take another drink, because for that I need it. Wish it was whiskey. It seems here in New York, the headline says, new $100 million Staten Island ferry goes unused with no one trained to pilot it. It says a dazzling new $100 million Staten Island ferry boat named after a local war hero and christened by Mayor Bill de Blasio with much fanfare 2 weeks ago has been grounded because the city hasn't trained ferry workers on how to operate it. The ferry is named after Army Staff Sergeant Michael Olis, a 25-year-old Staten Island native who was killed by a suicide bomber in Afghanistan in 2013. Okay, so we have the boat. I can't believe that we can't train people to, this is a big, big ferry, big. I cannot believe that you can't find the crew to operate this thing. Take existing crews, somebody who deserves a promotion or a new ship to drive. They already know how to operate a ferry, update them on the controls and what needs to be done, train them, and send out the ferry. Otherwise, why is this money spent? It's only going to rot sitting in the harbor. This is ridiculous. This is just utterly ridiculous. So anyway, it is nice and big. And this guy, tugboats take it out. You know, it's a whole thing. Yeah. It says a union member, Roland Russia says there is not enough ferry operators to pilot the boats. They can't even find ferry captains to do it. There's not enough people to ride a ferry around. People, go to work. But it looks like a nice big ship. Hopefully it gets, it's been christened. It's going to sit probably for the winter by dock. Christen it again after you take care of the rust problems. Ugh. Telling you. You don't hear any wild animals in the wilderness saying, I'm not hunting for food unless you give me a bonus. What's this one here? This is from the 19th. A lot of stuff happened early in the week that interested me. It says New York employers cannot test workers for weed. That's according to Albany. So now New Yorkers can now unwind with weed after work without worry. That's according to the Labor Department's new guidance. That was last Tuesday. That bans employees in the state from testing employees for cannabis unless the worker seems visibly stoned on the job. Under the new rules, even reeking of pot smoke would not be grounds for a test after the state ended its prohibition on recreational cannabis this spring, just a few months ago. Observable signs of use that do not indicate impairment on their own cannot be cited as an articulable symptom of the impairment. You got that? Someone comes in reeking of pot, let him handle all the heavy equipment, let him do surgery, let him operate the fire hose, send out the EMS, because you can do it. This is it. You could do it. And God forbid you violate their rights. Someone's feelings may be hurt. But yes, this is what's going on now. You cannot, that means, well, let's see, if there are no visible signs of impairment. I was never a pot smoker as a kid. That was never my thing. Not as an adult either. I can tell you this. I used to be a tough drinker. I really was. I could drink. Now, not so much because it doesn't go with my medication for diabetes. But before that, I could do Jack Daniels in double shots like it was nothing. Like you would drink a shot of water, like it was nothing. I'll never forget on my 31st birthday, my friends wanted to take me out. So I showed up at my friend's bar. And I was starting to drink, having my shots of Jack. A few people bought me a few shots. And I had 6 in me. I was starting to feel a little bit of it. Then we went to dinner. So now I had my little rest and I had my food. I'm a big guy. You're looking at the video of me. I'm a big guy. And I was able to carry it. So we go out for a little bit. I'm drinking a little more. And I come back to the bar after that. And the bartender at the time says, your money's no good tonight, Frank. Anyway, I'm sitting there all night. People buying me drinks, whatever, I'm having a little water with it, but I'm not, I just put a straw in the bottle to gulp away. Anyway, point being, at around 3:30 in the morning, I said to myself, I don't get it. I'm not drunk. I don't feel, how many have I had? And I started counting. Who bought drinks for me? Who bought me a shot? And I realized that to that point, I had had 17 shots of Jack Daniels. And I wasn't breaking a sweat. Now, I wasn't dumb enough to go drive my car, but there would have been no way to know that I had 17 shots. But had I tried to drive, there could have been a problem. I don't know that, but I was able to manage 17 shots. Aware enough not to get behind the wheel of the car, which a lot of people forget about that every now and then. They try it. You're talking about now telling people they could smoke pot and go and do what they want at work, even if you smell it on them, like my breath would have smelled from whiskey. You can smell it on them, all over them, and you cannot tell people to relieve them from their post for a day because it's their right to work and their right to smoke pot. Well, okay, it doesn't give a list of what jobs this applies to. Like I say, could this be a doctor smoking pot around a ton of it, say around 10 o'clock at night, then waking up at 5 in the morning to perform surgery? Just curious. NY, let's see. Let's see. It says NYPD officers not allowed to smoke pot, marijuana when they are off duty. Okay, well, that's a good thing. They got a gun in the morning. But how about the fire department? This guy's got to climb up a ladder, break in, carry someone out, maybe, operate the hose, and all the other things that go along with it. Could he be driving the front or the back end of the truck? So, certain laws, I don't know about it. I just don't get it. But okay, you got the gist of the story. And yeah, the hour is going by. We got about 20 minutes to go. So I'm reading. Excuse me. New York City has a new rules from the 21st, a couple of days ago, that's now banning propane tanks on outdoor dining. You know, when you walk by and you see the outdoor heaters by the outdoor sheds where people were eating, you know, that hopefully they work. It looks like big lamps, but even the smaller ones sometimes have it. Not the little ones hanging on the ceiling they plug in somewhere, which I know does no good. These look like lamps. You see little flames and all that. Well, restaurants are being banned from using them. Personally, I do not like outdoor dining. One of the things is I've seen some fires. You know, people decorate them with artificial flowers, fake flowers that are flammable. There have been some fires. They block doorways. I don't know how the fire department gets into all these places, but when they have to. But I don't know how they didn't get involved when all these sheds were being erected. You couldn't get through a doorway. I personally think that every door should have direct access, but that's me. But now you're going to see. Oh, well, let me read a paragraph. You're going to see. It says the city's latest move is cold, and for struggling restaurants already battered by the fallout from the pandemic, things are about to get colder. He's chalking it up to safety decisions recommended by the fire department, which somehow I'm not believing it because they've been up there for the longest time. But yeah, a lot of places can now apply for a $5,000 grant to replace them with electric or natural gas alternatives. I'm hoping they go with electric because I can see where gas would be a disaster when everyone wants to take a shortcut. But a lot of restaurants, especially in old buildings, may not be able to handle all the extra wattage. Heating a shed. Sometimes you have as many tables, if not more, than on the outside than you would on the inside. So a lot of times, especially in old buildings, the heat comes up through pipes, and it's different. It's just different. This could be interesting. So I don't know. I'm not. Again, I'm just not crazy about outdoor dining, but I would leave the propane tanks in effect because you can easily refill them. They're individual. They're not hooked into the building. But that's just how I see it. Of course, now the city can find new ways to issuing out fines for restaurants that are not in compliance. And yeah, you're going to see, I think, especially with this winter is supposed to be a really bad one. I think you may just see if some of your favorite places falling off. So, keep an eye out, see what's going on. And speaking of empty shacks or outdoor shacks, people in New York City are now suing to get rid of these outdoor dining places because, hey, they're in the way. People can't park their car. They don't leave access for garbage pickup because their own structures are blocking the doorways. So garbage is being piled up everywhere. Oh, I shouldn't say rats. That's a drama. That's a little bit exaggerated, but they are in large piles in certain places, and people are now having because of the food that's being served outside that gets through some cracks and whatever. There's more rodent problems, and you're living in places where you're paying a large amount to rent. You're paying a large amount if you own a place. You don't want to see rats in your neighborhood. So right now, the people suing the state or the city are from Greenwich Village, the East Village, the Lower East Side, uh, also Chelsea, Hell's Kitchen, Williamsburg. It's just all old neighborhoods where people are. Yeah, it's the way it is. It's not like a new building where everybody gets to put their trash inside of like a big driveway, a big garage, and it's picked up, it's like building sanitation. These are just people who are businesses who are just, I understand they tried to survive, but I'm not going with this COVID thing anymore. I'm sorry, I can't do it. It's time to, everybody wants life to be back to normal. When's it going to be normal? Well, get rid of the outdoor dining. Go back. You want life before COVID? Get rid of the outdoor dining. There will be life before COVID. Of course, we didn't have it before. Yeah, you had people with outdoor seating, but that's one thing. This is another. Speaking of COVID, I got this from BBC. When everyone went into lockdown, or I want to say lockdown, that's quarantine, call it whatever you want. I don't really care. It says here more than 3.2 million pets were brought into the United Kingdom household during lockdown. Okay. Dogs, cats, mostly dogs. Now lockdown is over. Now quarantine is over. People are going back to their lives, and they're disguising their dogs to look like strays, and they're abandoning the dogs. They're putting them back into cages, leaving them here or there. And yeah, it says Hope Rescue of Rhonda Canyon Taff. Okay. It says Hope Rescue in Rhonda Canyon Taff said the number of dogs being dropped off to its rescue center in Pontacloon was at its highest in its 15-year history. Yeah, people wanted company. Now they don't want company anymore, which I knew would happen because that's how people think. People need to care about their dogs and about their pets. You tell your dogs every last secret you got. Dogs could speak. All of us would probably be in jail by now because we've told them everything. They take care of you when you're in trouble. They help you when you're sick. They protect you with their life if necessary. And because now your fever broke and you can leave the house, you're giving up the dog. That's so sad and pathetic. That's why I prefer dogs and cats to people. Anyway. Yeah, we're coming up. It's soon. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, it's not exactly cheery this week with stuff. But speaking of COVID, I'm not going to tell you to get vaccinated, although I will in a second. It says a Georgia man has spent $57,000 of his COVID relief fund on Pokemon cards. Pokemon. Remember that game? He got 57,000 in relief, and that's what he put it to. Pokemon. I hope he gets jail. He has been federally charged with wire fraud after spending most of his COVID-19 business relief loan that he had lied about on a single Pokemon card worth $57,789. What's it? Vinaf Adamson, if I'm getting that right, of Dublin, was supposed to use his economic injury disaster loan to cover business expenses such as payroll, production costs, debts, and so on and so on. But instead, blew it all on a trading card on his app. So anyway, yeah. This guy's got trouble. This guy's got a lot of trouble. Anyway, so now he faces 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. I don't know what he's going to really get, but okay. And speaking of COVID, I don't know why I got a lot to cover with this, but okay. I found a story on NPR News. This was dated today, 25th. The headline is "Decades After Polio, Martha is among the last to still rely on an iron lung to breathe." Now it's COVID-19. Well, a long time ago, when there wasn't vaccine so fast, there was polio. And a lot of people, like everyone else, got up, went out one day, came home. This particular person, she was born on, she was 5 years old in 1953. Okay, so now she's 72, 73 years old. She went to a party with, she went to, she celebrated her 5th birthday with a party at the amusement park in Oklahoma. A little over a week later, she woke up with a sore throat, pain in her neck. Family took her to the hospital. She was diagnosed with polio. That's a very common thing. You went out, got sick, came home, symptoms crept up. Next thing is she has polio. And this was called an iron lung. Now, why am I talking about an iron lung? There were no vaccines. Now, an iron lung is a big, long tube that's about 7 feet long. They would put them in very large spaces so they can put many tanks in there. And through that, only your head would stick out with a seal so the air pressure would help your chest. Negative pressure, positive pressure. So you could breathe. And this was what happened to a lot of people. So, I mean, I'm sure they had to open it up to take care of you for a short span, but you were in an iron lung. That was your chance of survival. That was the medical technology of the day. Now, why am I mentioning this? Right now, we are fortunate enough, whether it's a perfect vaccine or not, to have one for COVID. You've seen all the stories of people that went into a hospital feeling sick. Next thing is they're on a vent. Most people on vents don't get out that fast, especially if they're older or sicker to begin with. And I'm looking at this picture. Right now, I'm looking at a picture of, looks to be about 8, just because of the shot itself, I'm seeing 8 lungs. And that's what it's called, 8 lungs. It looks like side openings to put your hands in there, to do something for the patient. But that's where the patients were kept. This woman till this day relies on an iron lung to help her breathe. So when I tell people go get a vaccine, it's not because I care if you have a needle in your arm or not. It's not because I don't want to, again, don't tell me about your rights, your religious freedoms or whatever. It's because I don't want you on a vent. I don't want to see people dying if they don't have to. And believe it or not, in certain places, there's still trucks, refrigerated trucks with bodies from who knows when ago with all this. So I'm looking at this polio photo and I'm thinking, everyone right now, you got a vaccine, go get it. If you're reading in the headline tomorrow that somebody had a bad reaction, it was one story, I'm talking about one over millions. Go, millions. So let's put it this way. Right now, the equivalent to an iron lung today is an air vent down your throat. I don't want to see it like that. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to talk about. That I know we're almost done, but I do want to leave it on a light note, and which is back to the prudish people. Gotta love people who are prudes. Fans call on Disney to ban the raunchy shirts in the park after a viral post. Now, we all know what the letter D in Disney looks like. It has that big slash with a big swirl, and it's a big fancy thing. Okay, so there's a husband and wife team, or a couple team, male, female, okay. And one says, I wanted the D, and that's her shirt. And his shirt says, I gave her the D. All right, there you go. This made the so-called viral post, and this was called inappropriate. And of course, fans took to Twitter to roast the couple because nothing says anger like a Twitter post. Well, Disney will probably get rid of it. I think these things will go up in value if you have it now because, and personally, I think it's funny. I mean, I'd rather have a shirt that says I want the D or I gave her the D as opposed to a while back when you had the shirts that said I'm with stupid and the other one wearing a shirt saying I'm stupid. It's pretty much just as ridiculous, but that's what we got. So, okay, keep your Disney shirt where you got the D just in case. And, you know, we'll see what else happens. And I guess that is the story. It's 5:57. This show will be up on YouTube later on tonight, a little while. Why don't you go to Sky's Crescent Radio on YouTube? Please hit the subscribe button. If you like a show, one looks interesting, picture, hit on, click on, listen on. You'll see my picture in a lot of the show photos. I don't know why, but whenever I see a photo, it's never something very dignified. It's always me like this. I'm in the middle of a word. I don't know why Jade's doing this to me, but I've always got my hand in the air and my mouth is like. So anyway, are you signing autographs? Pre-printed money? Yeah, this is a trade secret, but this actually got her a lot of Instagram. She actually got noticed for this. Jade really is a busker. She's played her music all over the place, outdoors, indoors. Trains is where the train walkers come from. And one of the things she used to do, I don't know if she still does it, is she signs her money at Jade Zabert Music. And I used to watch her. Here I am doing my show, pouring out my liver, trying to be entertaining. And Jade has a nice pen going over her dollars in perfect money order. I wish banks would be so perfect in order, signing at Jade Zabert Music on every last bill until she finally got someone recognized her and saw the signature and this man, and that's what would happen. So, and always cash the bills in at the local grocery because they give out all the change. So that's how that was perfect. And I think that's what she's doing now. That's okay. That's cool. There you go. She's signing them. I know what she's doing. I should have got a brand new bill and had her autograph it. I could have framed it, hung it on the wall. Anyway, what else is going on? Okay, before I go, let's see. I'm still battling the weight thing. I found out that if I eat Chinese food, even the simplest of things, my sugar spike will be about 100 points. So we're not doing that so fast anymore. And I don't know why. I think my first tantrum on food. I couldn't believe it, of all things. I know people are going to get it wrong every now and then. I know things happen. It's not the end of the world. I'll let them know. I ordered my dinner last night. And I got chicken and broccoli because they're very bad when I say light sauce, very little sauce. They put it on the side. I say, put it on the side. So you know those little plastic containers, like you go get a quarter pound of whatever, and you get that little plastic top container. They charge me $1. I'm with this place for 30 years. They charged me $1 for this container. I couldn't help it. I could not help it. I was livid over this. So it became one of those things where, well, we don't charge you for extra sauce. I said, well, you don't charge me extras. I never ask you for extra sauce, but you charge me for a container. I said, so from now on, when I say light sauce, do you charge me less? Is that what you're going to do? Charge me less because I want less sauce? And this just went on and on and on. So I was just really, I could have been a YouTube moment. I could have done it last night. I was really bad last night. And no, apologies will not be coming forthwith because I was right. Well, I was wrong for doing it that way, but I was right. Anyway, that's what happened. I'm no longer ordering from this place because somehow they just don't seem to get it right anymore. Maybe like the truckers and everyone else who doesn't want to work, they can't get a good cook. But either way, that is the story. And I guess I'm about done going for my dinner debate tonight, which will probably be washed tuna fish and low-fat cottage cheese. It works very well. Anyway, the tape measure is moving, so I'm happy with that. And one day I'll be using half the screen space, hopefully. And yes, I got to get a little bit of a haircut. And that is the story. Good luck, Jade, tomorrow night at Mika, 25 Thames Street in Brooklyn. Go see the train walkers playing. They'll have a song you like, I'm sure. And that is the story. I will see everybody next week and have a good night. Bye, guys.